Hi, my name is Kane, and in this presentation, I'll be discussing my current coaching practice, the areas I've identified for improvement, and where I want my coaching to be over the next 2 years. I began coaching tennis in 2022 at Box Hill Tennis Club. Since then, my role has developed quite a lot. I now coach juniors and adults across different ability levels, including several high-level competitive players. I've also started doing my own private coaching at clients' home courts. More recently, I've traveled with junior athletes to tournaments in places such as Sale, Traralgon, and Mornington. During these trips, my role goes beyond normal tennis lessons. I support players before and after matches, run training sessions, and spend more time getting to know them away from the court. These experiences have helped shape the type of coach I am today and have also made me more aware of where I still need to improve. To evaluate my current coaching, I use the International Sport Coaching Framework. The framework identifies 6 main coaching functions: setting vision and strategy, shaping the environment, building relationships, conducting practices and preparing for competition, reading and reacting, and finally learning and reflecting. It also identifies 3 areas of coaching knowledge: professional, interpersonal, and intrapersonal knowledge. When applying this framework to myself, I realize that my coaching now occurs across quite different environments. I might be coaching a recreational junior one day, a higher level player the next, and then supporting athletes at a tournament. Because of this, I don't think effective coaching is about having one coaching style that works for everyone. My professional knowledge helps me understand tennis and design practices. My interpersonal knowledge helps me communicate and build relationships. And my intrapersonal knowledge involves reflecting on my own coaching and recognizing where I need to improve. As part of my self audit, I completed a SWOT analysis to better understand where I currently am as a coach. My main strengths are building strong relationships with junior and adult athletes, adapting my coaching across different ability levels, and becoming more confident working independently. My tournament trip experience has also helped me become more comfortable supporting athletes in competitive environments. For weaknesses, I find managing larger and mixed ability groups more challenging than private coaching. My long term programming also needs improvement, and I sometimes provide athletes with solutions too quickly rather than allowing them to problem solve. My main opportunities come from coaching higher level athletes, gaining more tournament experience, and learning from experienced coaches around me. Finally, my main threats are finding enough time for planning and reflection as my responsibilities increase, maintaining individual attention in larger groups, and becoming too reliant on coaching methods that already feel comfortable. Overall, this SWOT identified 3 main areas for my development: group management, structured planning, and feedback consistency. From my self audit, I identified 3 main development priorities, or big rocks. The first is group management. I'm very comfortable coaching privately or in small groups, but larger groups require me to manage several athletes at once while keeping everyone engaged and still providing individual attention. My second big rock is structured planning and programming. I'm confident planning an individual tennis lesson, but I want to become better at connecting sessions together over several weeks so athletes have a clear progression rather than treating every lesson separately. My final big rock is feedback consistency. I can recognize technical problems and provide corrections, but sometimes my feedback is based on instinct. I want to become more deliberate about when I provide feedback and when I allow the athlete to find the solution themselves. These 3 areas form the main focus of my development over the next 2 years. My overall approach is becoming increasingly athlete centered. For me, athlete centered coaching means recognizing that different athletes have different motivations, personalities, abilities, and ways of learning. Bowles and O'Dwyer discuss athlete centered coaching as an approach where athletes have a more active role within the coaching process. Rather than, rather than constantly telling an athlete exactly what they've done wrong, I want to use a combination of demonstration, questioning, guided problem solving, and individual feedback. For example, after a point, I might ask a high level player, "What do you think happened there?" before telling them what I noticed. This gives them an opportunity to analyze their own performance. The relationship side is also important to my coaching philosophy. My tournament experiences have shown me that, especially with junior athletes, I'm not only there to improve their forehand or their serve, I can also be a mentor and positive influence, while still maintaining appropriate boundaries as their coach. An important part of my coaching is changing my pedagogy, practice, and communication depending on who I'm working with. For a young beginner, I would use simple demonstrations, short instructions, positive reinforcement, and more game based activities. At that stage, I want them to understand basic skills but also enjoy tennis and develop confidence. With a higher level competitive junior, my approach becomes more tactical and athlete centered. I can use realistic point situations, questioning, and problem solving. Instead of immediately giving them the answer, I can encourage them to recognize tactical problems and develop possible solutions themselves. With a larger squad, organization becomes much more important. I can use stations or rotations to minimize waiting time and keep everyone active, while moving between players to provide individual feedback. Research by Larkin and colleagues highlight how practice structure and coach athlete interactions can influence opportunities for athlete learning. Research by Hebert and Coker also suggests that constantly providing feedback is not always the best for learning. This reinforces my goal of becoming more deliberate about when I provide feedback and when I allow athletes to solve problems independently. To structure my development over the next 2 years, I've used Whitmore's GROW model, which stands for goal, reality, options, and will. My process goal is to improve my structured planning by creating training blocks rather than planning every lesson individually. My performance goal is to become more confident and effective when independently managing larger groups and performance squads. My end goal is that within 2 years, I want to be a more complete and independent coach who can confidently work across private lessons, squads, and competitive athletes. Finally, my dream goal is to develop a strong personal coaching portfolio and work with talented junior athletes competing at a state or national level. I'd also like tournament travel to become a bigger part of my coaching, where I can contribute to athletes' development both on and off the court. The remaining stages of GROW are reality, options, and will. My current reality is that I already have strengths in relationship building, adaptability, and individual coaching. However, my group management, longer term planning, and feedback consistency still need development. These There are several options available to improve these areas. I can observe experienced coaches, take more responsibility for larger squads, and ask other coaches for feedback on my organization and communication. I can also create structured training blocks for my regular higher level athletes and use more questioning within sessions. The will stage is about turning those ideas into actions. I plan to create a short-term training I, I plan to create short-term training plans and review athlete progress approximately every 4 to 6 weeks. I'll actively seek opportunities to lead larger groups and ask experienced coaches for feedback. During private lessons and tournaments, I'll also deliberately give athletes more opportunities to analyze their own performance before I provide the solution. Every few months, I'll review my own progress and adjust these strategies if needed. Overall, my coaching has developed significantly since I started in 2022. I've moved from mainly delivering regular tennis lessons to having my own private clients, working with high level athletes, and supporting junior players during tournaments. My self audit has shown me that relationship building, adaptability, and session delivery are strengths, but becoming a better coach also means recognizing what still needs improvement. Over the next 2 years, my main focus will be becoming more structured with my planning, more confident managing groups, and more deliberate with my feedback. Ultimately, I want to continue developing into a coach who can work effectively with competitive athletes while still maintaining the relationships and personal side of coaching that I value. For me, success isn't only about developing better tennis players. I also want to be someone who has a positive influence on the athletes I coach and supports their development both as players and as people. Thank you.